Welcome to the July edition of North St. Paul Notes. I'm your host, Paul Anderson. Coming up in the next half hour, we're going to learn about the Silver Lake Splash. Stay tuned. North St. Paul Notes is straight ahead. Hello and welcome to the July edition of North St. Paul Notes. We hope this show will keep you up to date on the news and events that are of interest to North St. Paul. The 6th annual Silver Lake Splash fundraising event takes place on Sunday, July 19th. With me today to tell us about the Silver Lake Splash is Ingrid Koller and Mary Kvaal. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Once again.
Thank you.
Feels like it should be called the Ingrid and Mary Show.
We thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no
Fit
doubt.
on the posters very well.
Well, anyway, we've been together before, maybe 3 or 4 times now. Mm-hmm. This will be about 4th, maybe. I'm not sure now. How long is the splash?
it's
This is our 6th annual.
But I think it's our 5th time here.
We
Yes.
didn't talk about it on the show before, though.
No, the very first one, we had
missed.
about
6 weeks.
6 weeks to plan it,
Oh,
so I don't
that's
think there
right.
was any time for TV promotion.
I thought it was because I decided that this would not be appropriate for such a dignified show. So,
Okay.
Perhaps.
Well, we're making history.
well,
Yeah.
in any case, you're welcome to be back again.
Thank
you.
Some of the things that we'll be talking about, I'm sure, are things that we've talked about previously, but I'm sure there are a few people who are looking in who haven't seen you on the air before, so they don't really know that much about you, and they'll find out today. So, how did this splash start? You can describe that, I'm sure, Ingrid.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that. I got a phone call one day from my neighbor who said, "Did you see that they're not going to have lifeguards at the beach anymore?" And she was pretty alarmed, and so was I, because our kids were still pretty young and still using the beach, and we didn't really think that was a great idea for many reasons. But so we just really wanted the city to reconsider this idea of not having lifeguards at Silver Lake Beach. So we started knocking on doors and talking to people
Handing out
about this,
flyers
handing out
and-
flyers and inviting people to a beach meeting. Lynette Olson lived right across the street from
Right.
me, and so she and I would we just started raising awareness about this and trying to find out with our neighbors, did they think this also was not such a great idea for the neighborhood? Well, and for several people. It wasn't just a neighborhood thing, we just thought it was kind of a regional thing too, because we knew a lot of kids would use the beach that weren't necessarily right from our area. And we just had a meeting and invited a lot of people down to the beach to talk about what it meant to them, how many generations of kids in their family had taken lessons down there, and we invited the mayor and city council to that meeting. And they were very responsive, and I think it was a good way for them to just see what the beach meant to people. It wasn't just a budget line item, it really actually meant something to the community.
There was about 60 people that turned out for that
60,
first
that's-
meeting on the beach, and it was
Seems
just...
to me I was there too.
You were there.
I think
It was
attended.
quite a testimonial of how many
Right.
people did use it and grew up taking swimming lessons there and putting their kids there and whatnot. So.
And it was good to hear their stories too, because a lot of them would talk about they were young, they remembered growing up at that beach, and then they moved away for college or young adulthood, but then they moved back because they wanted their kids to have the same small town experience and the learning how to swim at the beach and just that whole community feel that's down there.
What was your fear as far as the beach closing, or maybe not closing, but not having supervision?
Of course, we didn't want any children to drown. We would hate to have that in our community or anywhere. we wanted, they kind of act as a lifeguard, as a presence, an authority kind of figure.
Right.
So it kind of keeps the trouble away from the beach and from the lake area and the playground, the tennis courts, and it, because people are, people don't want to cause trouble if there's people there that will stop them. So
Right.
they're authority figures. So that was another good reason.
Yeah, and we also noticed that when the lifeguards weren't around, people would fish in that area, and we thought, that's kind of it's nicer to have it very well, have some really clear boundaries about where you can fish and where you can't, and because I wouldn't want a kid to get a hook in his or her foot,
Right.
running along
And
the
they
beach.
clean the beach. The lifeguards clean the beach
Right.
at the end of the night. So if they weren't there, I mean, that just means that it's going to be more work for our North St. Paul workers who already work hard enough
Sure.
down there. And the beach was probably going to get just trashed. And none of us wanted that in the neighborhood,
And as a property owner in the immediate neighborhood, I was concerned about that too. I just didn't, like you said, the lifeguards sort of act almost like a police presence. They enforce the rules, and that felt better to me than
Sure.
thinking there's this stretch of beach that's maybe not so safe, and then kids could congregate. And
Right.
I just didn't want to see any trouble.
And they
down
also keep the geese away.
there. They do.
Yes, they do.
Yes. That's important.
That over the years has been
Yeah.
increasing in
Yeah.
annoyance.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It kind of ebbs and flows.
yeah. Well, as so often happens when some issue like that comes up, it takes citizens to raise that issue and alert people to the problems that might result. And if you didn't do that, it might just go on past without
Yeah.
anyone noticing.
Well, I think what we discovered too was we spoke up and then found several people who kind of wanted to speak up about it or felt the same way, but just didn't have, they weren't going to take the initiative to sort of start something. And I should say the city was very responsive, very, they acted right away. They overturned that item and they said, we'll put money back into it, we'll see that there are lifeguards down there because we realize this is a very important issue. So it was really, like I was trying to say earlier, it wasn't super confrontational. It was just really bringing the awareness and then having the city go, oh, well, this means a lot to a lot of people down there, so let's put this back in the budget. And we have this event that happens every year, and people say, how much do you want to raise? People will ask about the money part of it, and I think that's very important because that's really why we're here, but it's also to raise, sometimes I answer, awareness
Right.
because it is really kind of about that, and I think it feels good for the lifeguards too. They really appreciate this event because they feel appreciated. So it is just a kind of a way of raising awareness about an issue that I don't think is going to really come up again, hopefully, knock on wood.
Right.
But I think just having the event every year just kind of brings it back to people's awareness.
Right. It kind of fills another role where the ice cream social that the Historical Society sponsored, that was an event of over 30 years.
Yeah.
And I know that it got to be too much for the membership, and our members were getting older, and it became that much harder. And also the support we had was not as much as it needed to be to continue that program. So,
And so many people, and my kids too, just loved that event,
I know.
the ice cream social, and just had great memories from it. And so this is kind of, in a way, taking its place.
That's right.
It happens not in the same spot at Silver Lake, but
Right.
but we're finding, even though our committee is getting a little tired, it is, like you said, it's a big undertaking. But we find that there are a lot of parents of young kids that'll say, oh, my kid asks about it every year, or my grandchildren are still talking about it.
And we have numerous people that plan their children's have birthdays around the event.
Oh,
So
okay,
they bring their own picnic, and they find a table and they have the picnic, and then they let the kids play the games.
Right.
It's kind of like taking them to an amusement park and giving them each $5 and go play a game and get a prize.
sure.
Yeah.
And you don't have to clean the party at your house.
Yeah.
That's another benefit.
Yeah.
the way things worked out was very beneficial for the beach and for the community. I'm
And
assuming.
I think it connected a lot of people too.
I do,
We didn't
yeah.
know each other before this event. And so it's fun to make connections within our committee. But also we have over 60
over 80
volunteers
volunteers.
who show up that day and work with each other. And during setup, neighbors are meeting other neighbors, and they didn't
Sure.
realize it, but they live 4 houses away.
Yeah.
And it's just, sometimes it takes kind of a big community event, not necessarily just a fundraiser, but something,
Sure.
to draw people out of their homes and connect them with each other. So that's kind of the community's bonus from it, I think,
Absolutely.
one of them.
And I think that's why they all remain steadfast with their volunteering. Everybody puts in 2-hour shifts and it's wonderful.
event
At the
they
event.
do,
They put
okay.
in a 2-hour shift at the candy wheel or a 2-hour shift at the ticket stand. And it's so amazing to me how many people will come out and do that. And if they can't be there, they donate something for prizes. They donate pop, or they donate chips or water. And we give that out as prizes. So it's just awesome.
It's great. We don't want to make it sound like we're full up. we can't take any more volunteers, because we can always
Always need 'em.
I was
we
going to
can
ask you.
always take more volunteers. And you could. What's the best way for volunteers to get a hold of us?
Probably on the Silver Lake Facebook page, Silver
Oh,
Lake Splash.
okay.
That's the Facebook page.
We'll ask for that again before we finish.
Okay.
Okay.
Or they can contact Mary Kvaal at gmail.com.
Okay.
It's pretty, MaryKvaal.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary, for sharing that. Yeah, so we're always looking for new volunteers and younger people who like to. We want to keep this going for many years,
Right.
and
It would be great if we could get some
would
new
be
committee
great.
members.
get some new committee members and
I'm sure.
some young blood.
Yeah.
But
It isn't your goal to keep this the rest of your life, as far as those jobs are concerned.
no,
I think I understand.
is a lot. to
I think
undertake.
you understand.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what are some of the activities now that people will find if they come to the Splash?
We have carnival games, good old-fashioned carnival games. For instance, a candy wheel. Kids love that. You just spin a wheel and you figure out what kind of candy you're going to get. And we have wonderful people who donate prizes, and we've got some very cool candy for that.
Hungry Fish.
Hungry Fish game. Old carnival games that test your
Hungry
skills.
Fish.
The Hungry Fish.
Is that
yeah.
a fishing pond?
It's fish. It's 3 fish painted on a board. We had some wonderful volunteers do that. And
Lynette.
you throw the bean bags through the holes, and
Oh,
that
I
correlates
see.
what
Okay.
prize you get. Toss the whole ball in the buckets.
Yeah.
Sand dig. We do have a duck pond, or just the
And a fish
Yeah.
pond.
Fish pond.
Yeah,
fish
the
pond.
traditional fish pond. And,
bounce house,
yep, bouncy house.
live
The
music,
dunk tank,
the dunk tank.
which you'll probably talk a little bit more about later. But
Football
and
throw.
Football. We're adding a new game this year called the football toss, and it's just a way, another test of skills. Which hole can you throw it through, and
Okay.
if you get it in hole number 3, that's a certain prize. Hole number 1, that's another prize, and
Yeah.
that's kind of to appeal to the slightly more mature kids that might be there. But
The boys who want to show off.
yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Sure.
And live music. There will be any day now. We'll be playing on the stage.
This is the name of the band. Any
Yes,
Day.
yeah, that's good to clarify. Any day now we'll be playing for
From 1 to 3.
from 1 to 3. Then we have. Can I talk about that?
Yes.
I'm a string teacher, and some of my students,
sure.
we have a fiddle camp every year. The Early Bird String Academy fiddlers will be playing down there from around 2:30 or so, right in there. And that's always fun for them.
Sure.
They learn some fiddle tunes and come down and share them. And there are martial arts demonstrations that happen too. Dragon's Kung Fu is a local martial arts studio.
That's the one down by City Hall?
Yes, it's right. Well, no, it's not right there. it's around the corner and on 7th Street.
Oh, it's,
on
that's the
Main
one on 7th, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, so they come down and they do martial arts demonstrations, and that's always very interesting. I overheard one of my string students say, "Oh, good, the little ninjas are here."
One of the little fiddlers said that the
Yes,
little
one of the little fiddlers, yes. So it's a very family-friendly event.
Absolutely.
And young families love it because there's all these very easy-to-play games and prizes, and but then we also have people that just come down. And there's food vendors. So
That's
they
right.
might come down for an ice cream cone and listen to some free live music in the park. And it's usually, knock on wood again, but it's usually a beautiful day. And
It usually rains while we're setting up the
yeah.
entire event,
Right,
and then Ingrid and I start singing, and the rain goes away.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if
we
it's
have a
just
certain song that fends off the rain. And
Yep.
I had mentioned the possibility of you singing on the show today, but
No, we're
apparently not.
If you'd like to hear us sing, you're going to have
Come
to
and help us set up.
Help
Okay.
us set up at the Silver Lake Splash.
Okay. You mentioned the dunk tank. Now, there's more to say about that?
Well, we do have a dunk tank, and it's right now I have some bartenders from town. The bars in town do care about our community just as much.
Okay.
So I have a bartender volunteering from each bar. So I have the VFW, I have Newman's, Frank from Newman's, Jen from the VFW, Linda from Roddy's, and Bear, who is the manager at the Legion. So I
yeah.
have those four. Terry Furlong is going in. So it's a
Terry.
non-alcoholic event. However, we have people who serve alcohol there.
Okay, right.
But not there.
Not there.
No.
So come and dunk them. I will be putting a schedule out on the Silver Lake Splash web page, or Facebook page.
Is it hard to find volunteers?
Sometimes it can be very challenging.
wondered.
Are you
No one really
volunteering?
wants to go in the dunk
No,
tank.
I won't be able to this year.
For a second, I thought he was volunteering. No. Oh, yeah.
We're still looking for more volunteers. So
I like to observe, not participate.
Yes, that's fun.
I've gone in every year, and it's very hard for me to work at the event and be wet all day long.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, it sounds like it's going to be another great event, and it's going to, contribute, I think, a lot to the beach and also to the community in general. So
Thank you.
makes a big difference, I think.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you wanted to mention about this? I
Sure.
had some questions, but I just kind of ran out of them.
Yeah,
So-
it is a fundraiser. I want to stress that. And
Yeah.
so there are several ways that one can support
Sure.
this quest to always have a safely guarded beach.
Right.
So you can attend the event just by being there and maybe buying a few tickets for somebody to go play a game. That helps us. Buying food. Our vendors help, are renting a space there from us. Buying food.
Raffle tickets?
Raffle tickets. So even if you're listening and you go, oh, what a great cause, but I'm going to be out of town, you can either donate to the cause by connecting through, you could connect through our volunteer opportunity. Mary mentioned her email address that you could send to. Or you could contact us through the city, or you could just simply write a check and make a donation. And I just want to stress that any money, sometimes people are a little confused about what the money goes to. It goes exactly to lifeguards.
Right.
It doesn't go to beach improvement or planting a tree or this or that. It goes to
It goes into the
staffing
fund
Yeah.
for
a fund
the
that,
beach.
that then the monies
Right.
are used to staff the beach with lifeguards. And what we raise, and we're raising every year, or a little more every year, but we still don't raise enough to fully,
Yeah.
cover that cost. But the city does kick in the rest. But I just wanted to make that clear that
Sure.
it is a fund that helps pay for those lifeguards.
And you
Right.
can make your checks to North St. Paul
Beach
Fund, and you can send them right to North St.
Right
Paul.
to the city.
If
Right
you
to the
want.
city.
Yeah, right
Okay.
to the city.
It'll get to the
Now,
right
we had
place.
talked before, too, about the fact that the lifeguard staff is not as it was before. Can you say something about that? Or?
Well, the staff is probably, the White Bear Lake YMCA took over the aquatics part of the
Right.
Maplewood Community Center's programs, as far as I know.
And
I'm not-
previously, we've received, we had lifeguards from the Maplewood Community Center.
And they still are. They are still
Okay.
those same employees, but now they're under the management of the White Bear Y.
Well, okay, sure.
I'm not really an official on this, so
And it
I hope
doesn't-
I'm getting that right. But anyway, but there is some new management.
Sure.
Same lifeguards. There might be a few new faces down there, but it's being managed by the White Bear Y, that
Okay.
piece of it. But as far as we're concerned, the same, we have the same, North St. Paul has the same contract, I think, with Maplewood Community Center for this year. But we can,
And they're still the same quality, trained,
Sure.
certified,
So it won't
Red
change
Cross
things.
certified. Yeah.
Right.
The only other change this year is the fact that they're not doing
Lessons.
lessons, I understand.
Right.
yeah, I think my kids took lessons down there. But I think over the years, that interest has waned a little bit. I don't know whether people think it's a little harder with the unpredictability of the weather or
Right.
for whatever reason, the numbers kind of dwindled. And I think this year they just decided
Just
they
wasn't.
didn't have enough of
right.
an interest to have lessons.
Sure.
I'm sure if somebody was very strongly for that and they wanted their kids to learn in a lake, there might be somewhere in the Twin Cities where lessons are still happening on a beach. Or they could maybe call the Y and say, this is important to me. Could you, how can we drum up
Gather
more
a
interest
posse.
in this? Yeah, gather a posse.
Gather
It
a
works.
posse. It works. It works.
Right.
So,
Well, that's too bad, but that's the way things
Yeah.
are. And if
Yeah.
you don't have enough participants, well, it doesn't make any sense to provide lessons for
right.
too few number.
Right.
So, well, I think we're about out of time, but you
plug
you were going to say something else about another program, I
Yeah.
think, weren't you?
So 6 years ago, we started on the beach, and then in the process of being pretty committed to my Silver Lake Park neighborhood, someone said, why don't you be on the Parks Commission? So long story short, I ended up on the Parks. So I'm a member of the North St. Paul Parks Commission.
Right.
And I'm on a subcommittee that promotes the Concerts in the Park series. So I just want to take a minute to talk about another very cool event, actually
Right.
two more. We've had one already, June 25th. They're always on a Thursday night. We had beautiful weather and live music under a nice shelter, and people brought lawn chairs, and they had some ice cream cones, and because there is the Stemigs are the ice cream vendors at this event. There are
That's
two
right.
more concerts in the series, and I just wanted to bring those to your attention. On July 23rd, we'll be hearing the Lightning Creek Band, new and country classics down
Okay.
there at Housey Park. These are happening at Housey Park, which is near the park that is just south of downtown.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
and-
on Charles Street.
Yes. And August 20th at 6 p.m., the Teddy Bear Band will be there, and the Resistors. This is what they do is they sort of, the first set is geared toward young kids, and then the
Okay.
second set of the concert is a different band. But
Says traditional favorites for all ages.
yes,
So-
yes. It's just really fun to have
Yeah.
an outdoor concert to attend,
Sure.
and they're free. They are sponsored by Gallagher Financial and Sandberg Funeral and Cremation Services. So anyway, I just wanted to take a minute to plug those because that's another fun outdoor event for this summer.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's held at Housey this year, but previously it was up at Casey Lake, I think.
Yes,
wasn't it?
for the past couple years it's been at Housey because last year there was construction happening
That's right.
around the new playground.
Right.
Housey just ended up being kind of a nice venue, so we kept it there for this
Sure.
year. So I'm not positive it'll be there next year. It might move back to Casey. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. It's good to have
Yeah.
you on the show again, and
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Paul.
hope you have a lot of success with the splash this year.
Thank
you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for having us.
We're out of time on this month's show. Join us again next month when we'll bring you more news about North St. Paul. I'm Paul Anderson, speaking for everyone at the City of North St. Paul. Thank you for watching.